Hey guys, welcome to Sketch A Day. I'm Spencer, where every day I give you something new and interesting about how to draw, sketch, and see the world around you. Last week I covered a topic about rounded corners, how to draw them and understand them, and I'd like to go a little bit deeper this time, specifically about how to draw an outside rounded corner as well as wrapping around the shape of something. I may even throw in a couple other transitions as well. If you've got some paper, I'm using just a big pad of marker paper today, and I'll be using pencils just to mix things up, and maybe even a little marker. So grab what you have and see if you can follow along and hopefully learn something today. So to start, let's imagine that we have three planes meeting together, okay? Or in other words, let's say this is the top of some rectilinear object, some form, okay? So there I've got my lines going back in perspective, and here's the front edge. Now, if I were to look at this in side view, okay, and round this, let's say we had a radius coming down like so, okay, and I extend these two lines out, that's the center of a circle, almost like a cylinder we're going through. But what I'd like to actually do is draw a cube that would be representative of this square, okay, this square in perspective. So if I do that, 1, 2, 3, come down like so, and go back, what I actually end up with is this box here. And I'm gonna grab a couple markers here because this is gonna get a little bit messy in a sec. So let's start by dividing this square into planes. So I've got one plane right down the middle, it's halfway, and let's get another plane coming right down here, like so, that's halfway, and let's get one coming down the middle right here and going back, and that's halfway. So to get my rounded corner, right, you can see, hopefully you can see anyways, right at this point, I've got a small quadrant, which is essentially the same as this quadrant right here. It's like taking this, putting it in perspective, and that's this quadrant. So really I need a round right there. You see that? So to see that round, if we draw the whole circle, like we have this whole circle right there, I need to draw a circle in perspective. So there's my first ellipse. Same thing on this halfway point, okay, because this example is going to happen in all directions. So I draw another ellipse in this direction here. And let's draw another ellipse going in this direction, like so. And so what you need to look for, hopefully you can see it, it's a little messy like I said, is we're looking for the intersection point of these three ellipses. So I've got 1, 2, 3 points. You see that? So I've got these 3 points. Zoom in so you can see a little better. These 3 points right here. And if I connect these, I get a shape that's kind of like this. So if you remember last time, wherever I have a transition, I kind of like to extend these lines out, like so, and down, and over. Okay, but essentially what this gives me is a rounded ball corner. And that, my friends, is how it looks in perspective. Now, if you're doing the same thing over here, you kind of have to think, okay, if I got my square and I divide that square into equal parts, right? Gets a little bit messy as well. And I draw my ellipses like so, and like so. Really what I end up with is a shape like this on the far side. I did that really quickly, but it's the same thing as the front. And so I end up with a rounded shape like that, okay? So this area, remember, let's color it in red. That is the resultant round corner shape right there. Little pencil if you want to kind of show a little shadow core on this, but what I have now is I have my primary surface, and then I've got my rounded surface, and I've got my subsequent surface coming down the edge, or the end rather, like so. So pretty simple. Hopefully that makes sense. The other one I wanted to show you guys is if you're wrapping around something. So let's use a new sheet of paper here. So what if I wanted, I had these 3 planes again, but instead of just being a tight ball corner, I wanted kind of more of a sweep. Well, if I want more of a sweep, let's say I start here and I want, a nice big sweep there instead of that tight ball corner. What I would do is, let's draw a diagonal line here and just mark, go over in perspective, like so and like so. So now we know these 2 are equal. And let's pretend this is a square, that big, okay? And we have an ellipse. So I know, for example, this is the size of my round right there. And I'm going to extend this out a little bit further. The reason I'm extending it out further is because this round is really just a quarter of a circle. So I just need this part and this part. So now to get the rest of my round here, what I'd like to do is imagine. So let's take this and look at it from the top. Okay. So here's the top, and I've got part of my round here, part of my round here. If I want to round this is going to be the quarter of a bigger circle, and this is going to be the quarter of a bigger circle. So really, I just need to take this distance, flip it over, okay, draw like so, draw an ellipse, like so, and there's the first part of my sweep. Do the same thing here, and I'm just going to follow that, okay, just for saving time, but really, this is just part of an ellipse, okay. So what we have here, for example, is, here's my quarter circle, here is the other part of that transition. And so now I have a nice rounded sweep in perspective. Pretty cool, pretty simple. And if I wanted to show some form really quick with a pencil, shadow core, that shadow core is going to wrap all the way around and over like so. Nice and round, okay? So that's how I would do a nice swept rounded edge on a surface. And it may look really simple, or rather, why didn't you do a product? But this is the type of stuff that makes the big difference when you do your drawings, is understanding those principles. So hopefully you've been able to pick something up today. It's always good for me to go over these things and really break them into understandable chunks, because I understand even more, and I love doing this. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Please share this if you love what you've seen, and also subscribe if this is your first time, and that way you'll get updates every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/sketchaday, or on Instagram at sketchaday.com. And yes, I'm on Twitter. I don't use it as much as I should, but I'm at Daily Sketches on Twitter. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Sketchaday.